your first record, your second record, your third record, your fifth book, your ninth book, and then they think they know more about you than I do.
And I do.
Than you do also. So these kids walk in the store, and they put a tape on my machine. You recognize this? I don't remember it, but it sounds like the kind of gibberish I was talking about with Bob Dylan. It sounds like Pete Seeger, and Bob Dylan is terrible. I asked him to sing The Answer My Friend is Blowing in the Wind, and he goes, what? He was
Pretending.
No, because I don't remember if the song even had a name at that time, right? Well, he sings it terrible. You can hear Pete Seeger trying to do those eclectic African sounds on top, and you can hear my bass voice at the bottom, and it's terrible. So I said,
So where can we get this terrible tape?
I have a tape in Stockholm. The reason I forgot the program was because what people don't remember now is people will come in the store with tape recorders every day. I don't remember every time I sold a tape. There's no way. The program was so lousy, they never played it on BAI.
You mean it technically?
The program was terrible. Garbage.
What was?
You should be ashamed of yourself. You shouldn't even think of playing it on a radio program.
Why? Because technically it was poor, or they didn't like the song?
No, it was a lousy program. I mean, everybody.
Well,
you mean the performance was lousy, or the technical?
The performances were lousy. There was no togetherness. There wasn't.
It was an amateur. It was amateur.
Well, amateur could be fun.
Yeah, I know, but this was meant to be serious.
It was meant to be serious, but it doesn't come off. Including me. Like, I'm trying to do the best I can the way I always do when I'm on stage. But it didn't work. So, we're going back to 1961, and the problem with doing documentaries, they did a documentary on Bob Dylan now, they're doing it, and Pete Seeger was there and said, yeah, I knew he was great as soon as I saw him, and Allen Ginsberg would say, yeah, I knew he was great as soon as I saw him, and I said, why weren't they at his concert then? So anyway, I worked out a deal with Dylan to do a concert uptown. Now the concert uptown in the Carnegie Chapter Hall, that cost me $125. So my store was free, and the Washington Square Church was like $25 or $35.
So a lot of people came to the store concert?
Well, no, it wasn't. It was uptown.
Oh, actually, you never had a store concert, did you?
No, with Dylan, no. So I said, Dylan, I can't give you half the gate because there's no way I can even break even. So we made an agreement that above my cost of $175 or something, we would share the profits. So 53 people show up. Tuli isn't there, Sanders is not there, Allen Ginsberg is not there, Pete Seeger's not there. All these people are saying, as soon as I saw him, I knew he was great. None of these people
I never heard of that. You didn't spend $1,000 on advertising.
It was in the Village Voice. It was on WBAI.
Yeah.
It was on New York
Times. It was
Times.
in the Village Voice with 300 other concerts. Yeah, advertising.
And I had a newsletter which I printed up for $40, which I never did. Otherwise, I had to get stacked.
Maybe I hadn't heard of them, but
which I gave out to everybody. Everybody that walked into my store, I said, Tuli, this guy is great. You got to hear him.
You didn't say that to me. When I heard Just for the Record, I heard Dylan for the first time at the community church somewhere in the 40s. It was a political benefit.
What year?
I don't remember. But this little kid walks out with, just a minute. This little kid, you and I were not the only people who Dylan affected this way. This little kid walks out with that, and he starts singing at the end or during the show. He was the only music there. And I said to myself, and the crowd did too, this kid is really something. This kid is really something. And this kid was really something, You could tell right away. There was no doubt about it. There was no, I don't remember ever, I don't think being very few people.
You should have brought the program. So,
anyway. Okay, so let's get that straight. I think Dylan was discovered first by someone named Robert Zimmerman was discovered first by someone named Robert Zimmerman. So let's not be the dominant primate. This guy is pretty good, and it doesn't matter who found it out first. His mother probably found it, so he was great.
Well, the thing is, Bob Dylan comes to my store, And it turns out that the first interview I did with a folkie, or folknik, was with Bob Dylan. And he starts telling me the story how he grows up in Duluth and how he's in California with Woody Guthrie, and he thinks Jack Elliott was there.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing anything at the time.
And he was a miner's son, right?
And he's in Texas rolling around, and he meets Mance Lipscomb. You know, you go in the cotton fields and you meet this old blues singer. You know, and then he's walking around in Chicago, and he meets this Arvella Gray. Now we know that he borrowed 400 LPs on 78s from Tony Glover, Blues Freak, from Minneapolis. And then he comes to my store. Gee, you know, I never saw anybody play banjo until I walked into your store. I never saw a guitar before. And then he was playing with Bobby V in a club in Colorado. So at the age of 12, Bob Dylan was at the center of the folk music movement in America. And people ask me, how could you write this down in your notebook? I said, look, the first time somebody comes in, whatever they tell me, I accept, until I start figuring out things. So in 1962, Bob Dylan walks into my store and says, Izzy, I got a song for you. I said, oh, come on, I'm busy now. So, yeah, but you're going to like this song. So I said, you know, whatever I was busy at doing, you got to hear the song. So he gives me the manuscript of the song, Talking Folklore Center. And it was pinned up on the wall for a long time. You still see 20 pin marks. It's a wonder nobody stole it. So somebody should have stole it. It'd be worth a lot of money now. So I said, gee, that's great. You know, you write songs about Hattie Carroll or Red Gravers, or now you write a song about me. That's really nice. So I feel like a Jewish kid, working class kid from the Bronx. I can't just take the song from him. I got to pay him something. Like at the concert in Little Carnegie Hall, I lost money, really money. Well, for me, like $100 or something. That time was a lot of money. But I gave Dylan $10 anyway. I said, Bob, you got to take the $10. I said, okay. And he was very embarrassed too. So he comes and gives me this song, Talking Folklore Center, and I got to give him a record. So I'm looking at the record. What record am I going to give him? So what I particularly remember, I couldn't give him Judy Collins. I couldn't give him Odetta because I was selling them. So I had to give him something I couldn't sell, you understand? So I'm interested in...
You gave him one of my records.
No. I gave him different than one of your records. Columbia Record put out a 2 LP set of Robert Johnson blues. I bought 3 sets 3 years earlier. And guess how many sets I sold during that time? Zip. The horrible story is, now, it came out 2 years ago, it sold 600,000 copies in the United States. It's 3 CDs.
Wow.
So I couldn't sell it, Oscar. I tell people, you know, Bob Dylan's great, nobody gives a shit. Tell people, Robert Johnson great, nobody buys it. So instead of giving him Theo Bickel, or which I could sell also, or the Clancy Brown, I gave him Robert Johnson set. Because I couldn't sell it.
It was a good move.
A good move?
Yeah. Because then he was influenced by Robert Johnson.
Then, of course, he wrote the song. Every expert in Europe, when it comes to visit me for the first time in Stockholm, like I'm a living legend, unfortunately, but a better living legend than a dead legend. The first question they all ask me, Mr. Young, how do you feel about positively Tversky? So I said, what are you asking me for? Ask Dylan. And then I found I wrote something in one of my columns in Sing Out. Dylan comes to Greenwich Village. I break my ass for him. Dave Van Ronk breaks his ass for him. Bob Shelton, New York Times, breaks his ass for him. Everybody's helping him as much as they can. Everyone thinks he's great. And then...
I'll keep going.
Everyone thinks he's great. Everybody helps him. And then he makes it, and he leaves Greenwich Village, and he writes a song very bitterly, but you want to be in my shoes.
Who was that? Was that directed to a particular person? That soon?
Well, a lot of people think it's directed to me. Some people think it's directed to Dave Van Ronk. Some people think it's directed to Bob Shelton. You know, all the people that helped him. It's like a story of Strindberg. Strindberg works a play, wrote a play once, and he attacks a professor, really unfairly, very harshly, very hard, and the name is almost the same as the professor's attacking. And they do an interview with the professor at the time, 100 years ago, and they say, "Why does Strindberg attack you?" He says, "I don't know why. I never did him any favors. I never helped him right."
Yeah.
What does he attack me for? I never helped him.
No good deed goes unpunished, is there? What's that? Where's the Times? Okay.
The times they are changing.
Yeah. Nothing good happened today.
Oh, I didn't read the Times today. You got to tell me too, Sylvia, after you read it.
I don't know. Here's the second here. Sure.
So anyway, people kept coming to my store doing concerts, and the problem with my concerts were, when somebody did a concert for me, they had to break their ass for 2.5 to 3 hours. They had to do a real concert. They had to think about what they're doing. I never told anybody ever what to sing or what to do. I never edited anything. I wasn't a producer in any sense. Somebody came in the store, sounded interesting, I just put them on. And then, like Ed McCurdy, he's furious at me because I did a concert with him in the store. I've taken $100, he gets $50, and I get $50, and he's angry at me. I said, "What are you angry at me for? You work for $5 every Monday at Manny Roth's place." He was the MC for the concerts there where the organ singers are not getting paid. "Oh, but he's helping me."
Yeah, but a lot
He's
of
doing
people,
me a favor.
A lot of people appreciated what you did for them, right? Too, with them.
A lot of people, everybody did.
All right. So why don't you talk about them? Talk
Well,
about the Bugs concert.
Well, it wasn't even a concert. You played for free at my new opening in 1965.
Well, that was a concert. When we played, that's a concert.
That's a concert.
I don't remember that. Tell me about it.
Ed Sanders remembers it.
Ed Sanders remembers everything. He's got a photographic mind.
I opened the store in 1965 because I can't take McDougal Street anymore. Complaining about these coffee shops on McDougal Street not paying the singers. So I put a sign on my store in 1960. And I said, Johnny Mitchell, you know, and all these people, Ziegler, all these Arthur Luger, they're not paying the singers any money. They were taking advantage of these youth groups. I go out for supper, my window is smashed.
That's nothing. Today the kids have to pay to more.
You can attack anything you want to. You can say the communists are taking over Greenwich Village. You can say the capitalist pigs are taking over the Greenwich Village. You can say the mafia is taking over Greenwich Village. But you never name names. So that's been an important lesson for me. Because every time you hear a politician talk about those crooks on Wall Street, you know, the crooks at Beth Israel Hospital, then you know the guy's a crook himself. But unless you name names, you know, there's nothing you can deal with.
Tell us about the police riot in Washington Square Park. What year was that?
1961. They were singing in Washington Square since about 1947.
The folk singers.
The folk singers. And
For no money, just playing.
no money, just playing, and it was like a great scene. It was like the opposite of modern television. There's this pool, sort of waiting pool, and there'll be 10, 12, 15 groups around the edge. And then you would walk around, listen to different groups. Instead of the groups moving around, you would walk around.
Or there'd be solo players.
There would be solo players, mostly group players singing
Yeah.
Kumbaya or We Shall Overcome, things like that. And
A lot of people later became well known later.
yeah, Paul
Everyone
Clayton used to play there, Theodore
everyone
Kell played there,
yeah.
Jack Elliott, Woody Guthrie was there a couple times. The Clancy brothers were there all the time. Cynthia Gooding, an old villager, she was there. You would see everybody there. It was all free. It was a nice feeling. And in the old days, you had to be like an in-person to go to Margot Mayo's group or to Danny Goose or Pete Seeger. You know, it was like 100 people that knew about it. And now suddenly, there was a place where anybody could go, and you never knew what you heard from one week to another. And I went there religiously. So I opened the store on 57, and it's some called Folk Singers Guild or something having a license. Oh, you remember the Lionel Kilberg?
Yeah.
He had a group of shanty boys. And he had the license every year. And one day there's rumors that, who was the guy under Mayor LaGuardia that Papa used to love? The head of the park department.
Oh, Moses. Yeah.
Not Moses, no, after him.
After Moses?
Very beautiful. He used to have the carnation in his thing.
Oh, yeah. Grover Whalen?
No.
After Moses was John? I think it was an Irish name, was it? An Irishman, I think.
He was really a great guy. We used to see him on Southern Boulevard all the time with Mayor LaGuardia. Morris?
Yeah. Morris.
What was his name?
Is
Morris?
after Moses?
Yeah.
Moses lived?
Morris.
Yeah, Morris.
Newbold
The
Morris?
guy's name was Morris.
Yeah.
There are rumors going around the village. Newbold Morris.
Newbold Morris, okay.
He was my family's hero. We would go to a meeting, remember, we were all the movie houses. What's the street where all the movie houses in the Bronx? And there was a meeting hall upstairs. And we would go there, and Newbold Morris would shake our hands.
Oh,
So-
I think you're talking Washington Avenue, where they had the Winter Garden.
Not Washington Avenue. Remember all the 5 movie houses were near Southern Boulevard? Well, what's
Burnside Avenue, you had movie houses.
No,
Fremont
not that
Avenue,
one.
you had-
Anyway, there's rumors around. They're going to kick the folk singers out of the park. There's
Who
rumors.
was complaining?
What?
Who was complaining?
The Fifth Avenue Association.
People who lived around there?
People lived around the park.
Wealthy people lived around the park.
Well, we look at people differently.
Yeah.
I like wealthy people. So,
Yeah, but they don't like you.
I know. So the wealthy exploiters of the poor, innocent working class around Washington Square decided to get rid of folk music. These anti-Trotskyists, these people were. And there was a Greenwich Village Chamber of Commerce, and these rumors were really going around, flying around. And they were starting a campaign, all these liberal, progressive coffee shops, they were having, like, the kids come in, pay $1 to go into these places, and they would kick them out at 8 o'clock at night, and they would want more police protection. You remember when these people fighting for people's rights wanted more police protection? We got to stop handling Greenwich Village, all these people. And then they would kick out the kids at 8 o'clock and then have the normal age tourists after 8 o'clock. So, listen, did you arrange that bus tour once to the suburbs? To Riverdale or
No, not
something?
me. I think Fred McDowell might have done that.
It was a great thing, Oscar. They arranged a bus tour, because all these people come from Riverside to Riverdale to the village of buses. So somebody, maybe it was Fred McDowell, hired a bus to take the villagers out to Riverdale to see the people living out in the sticks there. So, Lionel Kilberg comes to me and says he's not taking out the license this year. So I said, okay, I guess I'll take it out. And Jack Gillespie is working for me then, Jack Ballard.
A license to play in Washington Square Park.
So,
That allowed everyone else to play too, right?
So I say, look, Jack, we'll take the license out. So whatever happens, we got a little publicity out of it. So we applied for license, it's denied. We apply a second time, it's denied. And then me,
So this
moved
was
up to
denied
Village
by
Bay.
the police department, right?
Yeah, but
Not by the park department? All right.
oh, it's the park department.
Yeah, all right.
But the police department come in to stop us, not the
Oh,
park.
they enforced it, right.
They enforce it. Yeah, we're only here to enforce the law. You went to the park department, they denied it. You went to the bar, and they denied it.
So was Newbold Morris was not the park commissioner then?
He was a parks commissioner.
And it was Lindsay's administration?
Right.
Yeah.
No, or
I'm pretty sure it was Moses.
no, not Bo. No, it wasn't
the
Bo.
mayor.
The mayor was
Was Koch.
Grover Whalen.
No, Grover Whalen was never mayor.
No?
Might have been Lindsay because
Who was the guy before Lindsay? It's before Lindsay.
Procaccino? No.
No. Because Lindsay came into the store and he came to
O'Brien,
the place in the village and
Dwyer?
said, Izzy, what?
Was Dwyer?
Oh, Dwyer.
Was?
Don't ask me, Izzy, what I can do for you, Izzy. What can you do for our administration, something like that. So he learned all
Kennedy.
that. And so Lindsay, and he has an identical twin brother-in-law now who used to dance there free at parties.
So the mayor was a Dwyer, we think.
The mayor was a Dwyer, yeah.
We're not sure though.
And
Newbold Morris, the good guy, was the park
the
commissioner.
good guy was the
That's all
park commissioner.
documented on that film.
Yeah, there's a film. What's the name?
Wait,
Grayson.
Sunday by Danny Drayson.
D-R-A-S-I-N, a very great film. You can never see it.
We have a
It's
copy.
Wait, so
yeah.
everyone says we can't sing, so the church facing the square, what's that called?
Judson.
Judson Church is supporting us, the Village Gate, Alta Rudolph, my mother, John Mitchell, Clancy Brothers, Cynthia Goody.
We were there. Sylvia and I were there.
Was he not in the movie? How come he not in the movie?
Oh, I don't know, because not everyone's in the movie.
No.
Pictures in Life magazine.
Yeah.
We made the Daily News to the river beatniks.
Okay, so tell what
Wait, so
tell what happened.
we go to the square, very orderly.
This was our protest against
The protest,
that Izzy organized, right?
not
Mostly.
totally long, but I was the main
You were the
force
leader.
behind
He
it.
was
I was
the
the
main-
leader.
He was our leader. Was the Fuhrer.
And we started marching the square from McDougal Street, and Danny Drayson, who I knew vaguely, asked if he could film it. So I said, sure, why do I care? So he had one camera, a handheld camera, with a guy, you know, the guy that did a lot of the filming. And we walk into the square, and the deputy police commissioner is standing there. And he told the first kid, you're not allowed to sing here today. Oh, no. You can't sing here today.
There were hundreds of us.
Yeah. And then one kid said, where's Izzy? And that's my great moment in history when I become a leader. The first time I'm a leader. Here I am in my suit with a white shirt and tie. And the guy says, Mr. Young, yes? And he says, you applied to the park department and it was denied. You went the second time and it was denied. And we were only here to enforce the law.
How many cops were there?
Oh,
100.
about 80 or 100.
Yeah.
Now
And
the
there were
police also.
paddy wagons.
You were there.
No,
Mama was there.
I was in Florida then.
And there were cavalry police there on horses.
Yeah.
And so the guy says, all right, you can go in the park, you can play, but you can't sing. So what? You can play, but you can't sing. So that's in the way. So I said, oh, you know, the United States Constitution, freedom of press,
Maybe you
freedom
can
of
sing
speech.
under your breath.
Sing under your breath. Bad breath. Under your bad breath. So the park, when you look at the film now, is Squaresville. Every kid has got short hair. They're all in suits like me. And I go into the middle, and I see the police all around. And I say, wow, they're going to knock the shit out of us. And because you know how to watch.
Because in those days,
you couldn't have a
even
riot
now,
without police. Without
yeah,
police, there was
the
no
police
riot.
sort of like to beat the shit out of you, especially if you were young and seemed to be.
So I
having
say,
a
oh
good
shit,
time.
I stand on a little thing where the spray used to come out in the middle, with a cover for it, and there's an NBC camera and a CBS camera, ABC camera, and I say to myself, I'm not getting away from this camera. As long as the camera's in front of me, I don't have to worry about the shit being beat out of me. And I look around, I begin to see police all around the square, but I don't see clearly, but I see, God, I never saw so many police in Greenwich Village before. And I see the paddy wagon, and I see the cavalry officers. Custer's last stand. So the deputy police commissioner comes to me and says, Mr. Young, can you please come on the side and talk to me? I'd like to talk to you about this. I said, no, you talking to me right here.
Exactly.
You're talking to me right in
That's
front
on
of
the
me.
film.
What?
Yeah.
That's on the film.
Yeah, we talk right here. I'm not going to, can you imagine me leaving, going on the side to talk to the police commissioner?
Right.
Yeah. So even I do, I didn't want to do anything, so I had him singing God Bless America, Star Spangled Banner.
Did you stain your pants at all that day?
What?
Did you stain your pants at all?
I was doing the righteous thing, just like I told the guy he had to let us give a chance to get the garbage on the dumbwaiter. The same thing. Who would think the dumbwaiter would become a serious play later on, 40 years later?
Yeah, well, they must have heard about what happened.
So the demonstration is over as far as I'm concerned. We start walking out of the park.
You said, all right, now we're going to leave and walk orderly. I think to your place or to the church.
I think it was to the church.
Yeah. So,
Well, you remember this better than me.
yeah. So Sylvia and I leave, we start to leave, and as we're starting to leave, everybody is leaving. That's when the cops said, this is their last fucking chance to beat the kids up. As we're leaving, they start beating the shit out of everybody they can.
And I didn't know that this was happening. Understand? Because we were walking toward the
Yeah,
church.
you were ahead of everybody, I guess. Yeah, you were.
So in other words, it was at the tail end where they
Yeah.
started picking up all these kids.
No, it wasn't even the tail end. It was just,
Well,
I think, when you had reached the edge of the park,
Okay, well,
there was still a few hundred people.
but I had no idea anything was
Yeah,
happening.
no, because you were 20 yards. You were at the edge of the park. This was in the circle.
So then it became an issue. It was in the newspapers.
People were hurt,
People were hurt, and it's in the film also.
and they went to the hospital. I don't
Two
know.
people went to the hospital.
French, is it Tom French? Guy ran a black bookstore. He was the. It was interesting because his father was like one of the executives of Smith Klein and French, so these weren't like scum, you know, like the cop thinks of scum. He beat a black kid up because he could get his way. Well, go on.
Well, the thing is, we were lucky that day. Of course, there was no rainstorms, there was no birds, rainstorm coming in, there was no baseball games that day.
People were arrested.
Eichmann was executed the next day. You understand, Oscar? There was nothing happening that day. So we were all over the papers.
Well,
The Daily Mirror had a headline on the front page, 10,000 beatniks rioting Greenwich Village.
I have that headline.
Yeah, that Times also had a.
Oh, it had a big story.
big
No,
story.
big headline. What?
People arrested.
I think 6 people were arrested.
And what happened to them?
Oh, they all were free. So then we go to court, and we go to the first court. Somebody calls up the American Civil Liberties Union. They go down to Wall Street, and there's this huge Wall Street office. You know, stamps from U.S. Steel and all these other companies. My class hatred is coming up with my little heart here. And there's a big Wall Street lawyer on Wall Street in a fancy office taking care of my case. And he printed a deposition.
So you were you were summoned or what? Or arrested?
No one ever touched me. But I made a complaint.
I see.
And it's the only
How
time.
did you appear in court then?
Wait. It was
On
the
what
only
ground?
time that Israel Young is a plaintiff. I didn't even know what the word means. You know, I'm always wouldn't call the other guys being arrested. What?
Defendant.
Defendant. I was always a defendant. This is the first time it says Israel G. Young, plaintiff against the city of New York. I still have that paper, you know. And this guy had it printed in these professional law agencies. It was printed on Monday. You know, I was there on Sunday. You know, it must have cost somebody $2,000 or something to get that printed beautifully like that. And we go to the first court,